Water, on its own, is not sticky. And sugar, on its own, isn't sticky either. But put sugar and water together in the right ratio, and add some heat, and you get a sticky, delicious, sticky mess. So why are all sugary liquids, from honey to molasses to maple syrup, so sticky? Well, it turns out that both water and sugar are sticky, at least on a molecular level. That's because both have tiny charges on them that act like little magnets around atoms of the opposite charge. These charges are the reason water molecules stick together to form drops and sugar molecules stick together to form crystals. And yet, on an everyday scale, sugar and water aren't sticky, for two different reasons. Water is made out of H2OS, which are really small, so as they slosh around, they can easily slide past each other. This allows liquid water to flow, so it can move around easily and transfer from one surface to another, not sticky. Sugar, on the other hand, is made up of much larger molecules, and at room temperature, they're locked together in a solid, so only a few charges are exposed on the outside of each crystal. And because solids don't flow, only a few exposed charges are close enough to the surface to stick to it, which isn't enough to make the crystal as a whole stick, again, not sticky. But when a sugar crystal gets dropped in water, its molecules detach from each other and reattach to H2OS. Only, when lots of sugar gets added, the sugars end up sticking to each other too. And here's where things start to get sticky, because those big bulky sugar molecules can't slide past each other nearly as easily as H2OS can, which is why syrups like molasses are thick and viscous. But because it's still a liquid, it flows well enough for most of the exposed sugar molecules to stick to your skin, forming a thick layer that adheres to you like glue. In fact, it's a lot like glue. Good old Elmer's works pretty much the same way, except that it's full of molecules that form really long chains, which get super tangled and locked together, and to other surfaces, as the water in the glue evaporates. So, in principle, you could use syrup as a glue, but you probably shouldn't use glue as a syrup. Did you know that sugar was once such a rare commodity that it was packaged with actual treasure as a gift to the King of Spain? At the time, the world's only sugar source was the sugarcane plant, which only grew in the tropics. But then, someone figured out how to extract sugar from the sugar beet, which could grow anywhere. And then, with the advent of the steam engine, it was suddenly possible to process the same amount of sugar in a single day that used to take an entire decade to produce. This led to massive consumption of sugar, which some scientists now argue is to blame for a lot of modern diseases, including certain types of cancer. I learned all of this yesterday in a few spare minutes by listening to Blinkist, a new digital learning app that distills great nonfiction books, including The Case Against Sugar, into little packs that you can read or listen to in less than 15 minutes.